People of the internet! Welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, and subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. Got a video pulled up here. Looks like it comes from Anton Daniels. Shout out to Anton Daniels. It looks like he's also doing a reaction. So again, I'm doing a reaction to a reaction in which it looks like the content creator, it looks like we'll get some context, but the content creator says, fired from the white collar plantation. Man loses his six-figure finance job over talking on TikTok. And I'm gonna tell y'all about that. Let's see what this context is.
Not even an hour ago, I was just fired from the white collar plantation for my TikTok. Yep, the same TikTok that's gonna be banned in like 8 days. You know what the craziest part is? Me and my employer have no affiliation publicly. So I'm curious as to how this isn't wrongful termination. This month has been absolutely wild. First, we're losing TikTok, and then I lose my job. How are you gonna fire me for disparaging the firm and the clients when nobody even knows where I work publicly?
Tripping.
I'm like reeling because I was being fucking honest on TikTok about my sentiments. They didn't mention my Instagram because clearly that wasn't the threat. And the reason for that is because I have a bigger following here on TikTok. Instagram, there's nothing real on Instagram. I post some of the stuff that I post on TikTok on Instagram, but like it doesn't hit the same because people there are trying to put on this facade that they're cooler than, weird shit. I think what they hated was the fact that I was telling the truth about the culture of the company, but I didn't drop any names. So how are you firing me for not dropping your name and we're not affiliated? Publicly, mistake. Nobody knows that I work at this institution. That's like firing somebody from Meta because they say they can't fucking stand Facebook and they don't like this fucking ban. And nobody knows that they work at Facebook except for the personnel at Facebook that don't like that you said that you don't fuck with Facebook doing this shit. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm a little nervous, but
you should be.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, God got me. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for money now. If it still matters to people, I don't fuck with Instagram at all. But go like follow me on Instagram, 00Sinky. It's the same as my TikTok handle. Also, let me just say this. When the CEO of the company that I now used to work for gets ousted for putting his hands on little boys and little girls, don't say I didn't warn you. New York billionaire.
Pause right there. Anton's gonna give his take. Of course, I'm gonna give mine. Brother, rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. And he seemed like a older dude. Rookie mistake, bro. And I can resonate with this on so many different levels. All right. So you heard the gentleman there. Of course, you heard the story. He got fired from his job because he was under the impression that his employer wasn't watching him. His online persona, of course, he mentioned that he doesn't really like Instagram. I share that sentiment as well, too. Instagram is just this artificial, fake, everybody got it, everybody's glitz and glam, everybody's happy, da-da-da-da-da. I don't really like Instagram. So he shared that sentiment as well, too. So he uses TikTok. TikTok, of course, which is arguably going to get, allegedly, I should say, going to get disbanded or dismantled, I guess you could say, in a few days. I don't think it actually is, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. The gentleman said he was talking negatively about his employer on TikTok, and he was under the impression that he didn't have any affiliation, that he wasn't associated with those people out in a public setting, basically outside of work. So he was under the impression that when he closed his laptop for the day, that he had no affiliations with the people at his job in his outside life. That is a rookie mistake, my boy. And you seem old, so you seem old. He seemed old enough to be able to understand that's not how this thing works, bro. They're always watching you. And let me share my personal experience. This is why, like, this is a bittersweet moment for me. All right. As you all may or may not have known, I've been working corporate America this entire time I've been doing this channel. The entire time I've been building this channel, right? The entire time I've been building this channel, I've had a 9-to-5 up until a month ago. Literally a month ago. Damn, January 14th. January 13th was my last day in corporate America. My entire time doing this channel and working in that job, you know what I had to do? You got to play it smart, bro. They're always watching you. Don't ever think your employer is not watching you, bro. Just because they don't come out their mouth and tell you, or you think, oh, because they didn't hit the follow button, like they don't follow me. There's people they're following you, bro. You know how easy it is to find you. And for me, in my personal experience, so I'll speak personally what the case is. This is what I think, especially on this channel as well too. When I was doing this channel, I know that some of the things that I say may or may not be what they would call HR friendly. So there's a period of time where honestly, like the job that I was working was stifling my creativity because I knew like I couldn't really say the things I wanted to say, knowing that I know my employer is watching me. Granted, on top of the fact, like I did personally. Now, this brother was saying that he didn't have anybody, so it sounded like he didn't really follow his coworkers or whatever the case is outside of work, which is cool. I was always recommend that as well too. You should know who your work friends are, and know who your real friends are, whatever the case is. So he was saying that, okay, they shouldn't have known, or they shouldn't have any big deal because I don't publicly say where I work. He put in these little safety measures that he thought were strong enough, and they weren't strong enough. Just because you don't come out and say this is where I work doesn't mean that people can't throw your name in a quick LinkedIn, Google search, and there's protocols you could do around that as well too. But again, better safe than sorry, bro. So this brother was under the impression, again, he got fired from his job because he was saying things on TikTok that, of course, his employer caught wind of and let him go. Of course, you saw in that clip as well too, he took a little subtle jab at his CEO. Oh, when it comes out, the news that this, that, and the other, when they find out about the billionaire, whatever the case is, he's going to get it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's neither here nor there. You're the one that's out of a job. You're the one that was naive in believing that the people aren't always watching you, bro. Let me tell y'all, bro, there's a lot of things, and I'm kind of glad because I feel like I have a little bit more of creative freedom on this channel now because I can say things now without having to worry about HR calling me into the office the next morning. You see what I'm saying? And I was kind of pushing that limit as well too. And again, like you gotta know, you gotta be able to read the room. You gotta be able to read the room. So when I was making this content, I still felt confident and comfortable to say the things I wanted to say, but I wasn't saying nothing stupid, bro. Like I wasn't saying anything that, would be too extreme where it would make any of my coworkers or the CEO of a company be uncomfortable with. You see what I'm saying? So you can't work at a place and assume, because they don't, to your knowledge, follow you on your external accounts or your personal accounts. Yeah, right. What? It even happened to me, man. It even happened to me. Somebody told me, and we ended up being friends. I had a coworker who told me, and I didn't even know. They told me, I looked you up because shout out to her if she's watching. She knows who she is. Yeah. If you see this, you know who you are. Yeah. I had a coworker reach out to me, and we're cool now. She's cool girl. Shout out to her. She reached out to me. I knew her from work. And then we had to work together on a project where the case, a few projects where the case, so we would report to each other. And then lo and behold, we had a conversation and she said something from this channel. Like she said something that told me that she watched, and then we just had a conversation. Yeah, da-da. And I was like, hold on, you've been watching me this entire time? She said, yeah, I like to know who I'm working with. Rightfully so. Like, if you're working with somebody, when you're building rapport with somebody in your workspace or whatever the case is, like, yeah, you kind of want to know who you're dealing with. You kind of want to know their sense of humor, their little triggers, whatever the case is, so you can have a healthy working relationship. So this girl told me, a coworker of mine told me that she did her Googles, she did her searches and and again, I kind of did it on purpose because I'm not that hard to find. I did that on purpose. Like, I set myself up in a way where it's just like, if you did want to take the time out of your day to look me up, you could find me pretty easily. I'm talking about people at my workplace. So it's just like, I did it because I wanted that visibility. Like, I kind of sort of do want you to know what I'm doing. I might not come out my mouth and tell you this is what I do unless you ask me. But if you did want to do your homework and throw my name in, I'm not saying I'm, whatever the case is, but it's not hard to find. So I made it very easy for if a coworker in my corporate 9-to-5 the time I was working wanted to look me up, they could do so. So again, I'm going back to the point of saying this brother was tripping, thinking that, I don't, what do you say? I don't talk to nobody outside of work, or I don't tell people where I work, or I don't have a social presence with these people outside of work. You're tripping, bro. They're always watching you. They're always watching you. So again, fired from the white collar plantation, says the man. Of course, he's speaking from a place of hurt. Man loses his 6-figure finance job for over talking on TikTok, bro. And I'm a yapper myself. This is one of the things I was always conscious of. The entire time I've been working at this job, bro, I made sure that, hey, man, in the event that these people look me up and they come across this channel and they see my content, they see my tweets, whatever the case is, I say things that you may or may not agree with. Not maliciously, but you got to be mindful of the people that you're interacting with. Every day when you open up that laptop, I was always conscious of that. Like, man, I'm going to record something, but tomorrow morning I'm going to have to log in, open up that laptop, and sit in a Zoom meeting with some people that may or may not be aware of my content. You see what I'm saying? So every day, like, I made sure I wasn't talking too crazy. You see what I'm saying? And to be completely honest, I would feel like the people, if they were my coworkers, if they were to stumble across my material, the content that I'm doing on my channel, like, I would hope they would like it. Like, I would assume That like, okay, again, whether you agree with me with everything I say or not, but I feel like most people will come across like, oh, I didn't know he did that. That's pretty cool. But this brother did the opposite. This brother was yapping his mouth on TikTok while working a 9 to 5 job and was under the impression that they weren't gonna find his account. And he's talking bad about the place that he works. And you surprised that they fired you? Come on, bro. Rookie mistake. And I know Anton's gonna say the same thing.
None of these people on TikTok are your friends. All right. I know that it seems like it because you get comments and stuff like that. None of these people on the internet are your friends. You know why? You know why I'm telling you that? Because they are not going to help you pay your bills when the rent or the mortgage or the car note or the electric bill or whatever the
Pause right there. Shout out to Anton. Basically, man, they're not your friends, bro. They're not. Let's just keep it real. These people are not your friends, bro. Co-workers, I learned that the hard way. I've been in so many situations, man, where people that were laughing and kikiing with me at my workplace, young, all along. Man, oh man, I've been in so many situations where co-workers, youngins that you thought you were friends, you were cool with, whatever the case. The whole time they plotting on you, they envious of you, they don't like what you got going on, all this extra shit. So again, that was just a rookie mistake, man. You live and you learn. But the dude seemed old enough to understand that, bro. You really thought that your employer's not hawking you down, trying to get the ins and outs of what you got going on, just to, again, get a better understanding of who you are as a person. Same thing the girl told me, my coworker told me. She said as we were working more and more, whatever the case is, she looked me up to make sure to find out who I was as a person. Because again, the person, we're all aware that the person that you are at work may not be the person that you are outside of work. See what I'm saying? So it's like, I would assume that people are carrying themselves a little bit more professionally, a little bit more, poised when they're in the workplace. But outside of that, yeah, we're all different people. That's just public knowledge. So I wouldn't blame it. All that to say, like, I wouldn't blame anybody for doing that. Like, if I work with you every day, we're laughing, we're getting worked out, whatever the case is, I would assume that you're maybe curious as to who I am as a person outside of work. So I would assume that people would look you up. Your coworkers are looking you up. So again, for this brother to be under the impression that, how did they fire me? I don't tell people where I work online. They don't know me. I don't connect with anybody personally outside. You tripping. You think that's enough to stop them looking you up on YouTube or Google? Come on, bro. Rookie mistake. But leave a comment down in the comment section. Let me know, man. Has anybody ever been in this situation? How do you conduct yourself amongst your employer versus offline? Whether that be TikTok, whether that be YouTube, whether that be any of these other platforms, man. I've seen so many situations, bro. That's another thing. Like, you live and you learn. I've seen so many situations of other YouTubers on YouTube plenty of times, years ago when I was watching YouTube, of course, all the time, of people saying that, yeah, their employer fired them because they found their account. Or their employer gave them an ultimatum. I was always waiting for that day, bro. I was always waiting for that day. I was like, man, the day my job gave me an ultimatum, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but some of y'all don't understand this. Like, this is for a select group of people. The day my employer would have ever called me in and said, hey, we're giving you an ultimatum. You either gotta stop saying the things that you're saying on your channel or leave. For me, that was a no-brainer. God, I'm so grateful that day that I was never faced with that predicament. But I know people that was faced with, what's the dude's name? The dude from Fresh and Fit, Myron. He was faced with that predicament. The dude from Fresh and Fit used to work for the FBI, whatever it was, and he was doing YouTube on the side. And his employer called him in because they did, of course, that's the FBI. So, damn sure they're going to do their research. And they found out, oh, man, we don't want you can't do both, man. You got to either pick your YouTube channel or pick this career. And he picked YouTube, and it panned out for him. That's not always going to be the case for a lot of different people, but there's a lot of things. Please don't be under the impression that your employer isn't watching everything you do. They're going to try their very best to find you online. Their very best. Now, you can put in some safety measures. Yeah, you keep your page private. Okay, cool. You maybe use a completely different name than your real name at work, whatever the case is, cool. Again, maybe you keep your coworkers as coworkers and your friends as friends. Whatever the case is, like, you could implement measures, right, that can maybe draw that fine line between you and your employer and your extracurricular activities that you do outside of work, or you just don't play that game at all. Play it smart. Don't say things that can get you called in by HR. That's always used to be my thing, man. Like, so now that I don't have to worry about that more, I feel like there's a layer of creative expression I have now because I don't got to worry about getting called into HR the next morning, bro. You tripping if you think they're not watching you. What? What? Your job is watching you, bro. Your job is watching you 110%. So that was a good video. Again, I'll leave the link to the full video. Of course, those are my thoughts. I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, and subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Let's get into the next one.